Hi, boys and girls, and welcome to today's math lesson, which is problem solving using the strategy Act It Out. But before we continue, I would like you to be sure that you have your math textbook, your whiteboard and marker, as well as counters and work mat 3, which is the part whole mat. Okay? All right, so here we go. And our essential question is, how do I use strategies to add numbers? All right, so let's start with our first math problem here, some practice. Ava buys 5 oranges each week. How many oranges will Ava buy in 4 weeks? Okay, so let's see. Well, if she has 5 oranges, we could draw them. All right, let's see. What is this little e-tool kit here? Is this going to help us out? No, unfortunately. All right, so we are just going to have to draw some of our own. All right, so we're going to draw 5 oranges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But that's only for 1 week. So here's the number 1. For number 2, she did another 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. For week number 3, another 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And for week number 4, she did 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here are all the oranges. Now we have to figure out how many did she buy. Well, I know that there's 5 for each week. So I think rather than counting them all by ones, I'm going to count by 5s. Ready? 5, 10, 15, 20. She bought 20 oranges after 4 weeks. Okay? And if you had a little bit of difficulty counting by 5s, it's probably a good idea for you to practice doing that on occasion. Okay, here we go to our next one. And there they said 20. Okay, so this is coming off of practice. This is a little bit of practice for the last lessons that we had using doubles or near doubles. So what they would like us to do here is they would like to, let's see, write a doubles fact that helps you solve the 6 plus 5 and then add. Okay, well, remember I said for doubles, they have to be related, meaning they have to have at least one of the add-ins that is shown in here. So that means one of them would be 6 plus 6, okay, equals, do you remember? That's right, 12. And now look at the other add-in. Okay, it's 5. So tell your adult what your other doubles should be using this add-in. And if you said 5 plus 5, good job. Now, these would help us solve, okay, this can help us, one of these, help us solve 6 plus 5. So I think I'm going to use the 6 plus 6. Now, here's the 6, and 5 is 1 less. So I'm going to say that 6 plus 5 equals 11. All right. I would like you to do number 2 on your own and make sure you write 2 doubles facts. That would help. And then you can just write your sum over here for this math sentence. Okay? And then when you're done, you can hit play and then check your answer. All right, so pause and solve now. Okay, here we go. Here are your two doubles facts. Took the first addend, 7 plus 7. Then here's the second one, 8 plus 8. And then the sum for 7 plus 8 is 15. Okay. All right, let's go down here. All right, now I'm just going to go over this. It says that, remember, when we talk about learning things, we usually will underline what we know and circle what we need to find out. So that's what they've just said here. So let's read this. And now this you can look at also. If you want to pause and go get your math text and come back, do that now. And you can turn to, let me write it down for you, this is page 243, okay? And it's lesson number 6. All right, so if you would like to do that, pause the video and go get it. And once you return, we can start again. Okay, so we want to plan how we're going to solve. Well, we're going to use the acted out strategy. All right, that's what our lesson is about today. So 3 red birds are on a branch. There are 2 more yellow birds than red birds on another branch. How many yellow birds are there? Okay, so they said there were 3 red birds on a branch. All right, and that there were 2 more yellow birds than the red birds. So here is where I'm going to do my acted out. So I'm going to do 3 birds, okay? Oops, 3 birds, 1, 2, and 3. All right, but then they said there are 2 more yellow birds on another branch. So then there were the red. 1, 2. Okay, so now I need to count how many birds there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to say that there are 5 yellow birds on another branch. Let's look and see. Okay, so they did their cubes. Here's the 3, then the 2 more, 5 yellow birds, okay? All right, so now turn to the next page, 244, and we're going to start from the top, okay? And here we go. It says, Susan found 3 shells on the beach. Jamar found 1 more shell than Susan did. How many shells did Jamar find? Okay, so remember first we have to underline what we know. Well, we know that Susan found 3 shells on the beach. Okay, so go ahead and underline that. That's your first sentence. Now your writing looks a little different than what's on the screen, so you need to be careful about what you're underlining. And then we're underlining the next sentence because it says Jamar found 1 more shell than Susan did. Okay, so those are the 2 things that we do know. All right, now I'm going to circle. What do we need to find out? How many shells did Jamar find? All right. And then how will I solve the problem? Well, we're going to use the acted out. Okay, so we're going to act it out there. Okay, so now Susan found 3 shells. 1, 2, 3. And then Jamar found one more shell than Susan did. So I'm going to put the 1. So how many shells did Jamar find? All right. Now you write your answer down. Okay. And let's check on the next page. I'm going to solve that. 4 shells. Okay, here's the acting it out. They used the cubes. All right. You could have used your connecting cubes or your round counters, whichever one you feel more comfortable with. Okay. And then they ask, is the answer reasonable? Well, yes, because 3 plus 1 equals 4, so that's a reasonable answer. Okay. Now, let's look at the apply the strategy on page 245, which is your next page, okay? Now, I'm going to read this for you, and then I would like you to put your counters there, write your answer, okay, and then come back and check it. So here we go. And remember, we're going to underline what we know. All right. Lou picked 7 apples. Jordan picked 1 more apple than Lou. How many apples did Jordan pick? All right, so we know that Lou picked 7 apples. Jordan picked 1 more apple than Lou. And then how many apples did Jordan pick? All right, so I would like you, remember, Lou picked 7, Jordan picked 1 more than Lou. All right, so using your counters, which is the acted out, solve it, put your answer. All right, so pause and solve now. Okay, let's see what you got for your answer. You should have gotten 8. And is it reasonable? Well, yes, because 7 plus 1 equals 8. Okay. Now remember, if you are not ready, you can always hit pause again. Jan has 6 necklaces. Kim has the same number of necklaces. How many necklaces do they have all together? All right, so here we go. Underline what we know. Jan has 6 necklaces. Kim has the same number of necklaces. And now the question, what we need to find out, how many necklaces do they have all together? All right. Pause and solve, and then come back. All right, so Jan has 6, Kim has 6. That's a double. That's right. 6 plus 6 equals 12. Good job. All right. The clown sells, this one we'll do together. This one's a little more challenging, but that's okay. I like challenging. How about you? The clown sells toys in boxes of 2, 4, and 6. All right. Neela's mom buys 2 boxes with 10 toys in all. Which boxes does she buy? Okay, so this is where you could use your whiteboard or some counters. Okay, so in one box there's 2, in another box there's 4, in another box there's 6. We have to, so we already know that there's 2 boxes because they said she bought 2 boxes, all right? And it has to total 10, all right? So we could say what? Let's try this. 2 plus 4, all right? What does 2 plus 4 equal? Use your counters if you need to, or count on. Remember, biggest number, 4, count on 2. 4 is in my head, 5, 6. Okay, so we know it's not those two boxes. Let's try the 2 and the 6. 2 plus 6. All right, well, 6 is the biggest number, so 6 in my head, 7, 8. Nope, still not that one, because they said she had 10 toys altogether. All right, so let's add 4 plus 6. All right, 6 is in my head. 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so she bought 2 boxes with 4 and 6 toys. Now, the reason I wanted to go through that with you, all right, you have to figure out, okay, how to come up with the information they gave you. You have to think of all the different possibilities, all right? So that's where your counters come in handy, and also using some math sentences, okay? You could have just 2 counters, then 4, and then 6, and see which one makes the sum of 10. All right? Good job. Okay, and there is the 4 and the 6 toys. All right, now let's look. We're going to review. So these, I'd like you to do it, okay? Do it on your own. I will read, all right? There are 5 boats in the lake. There are 6 boats out of the lake. How many boats are there in all? Now, you get to choose the strategy. You can act it out with your counters. You can draw a diagram, you know, underneath your math problem. You have some room there. Or you can just write a number sentence if you feel that you know your math facts enough to do that. All right, so pause and solve, and then come back. Okay, there were 11 boats in all. Okay, you could circle for me which one you did. All right, be nice to see what way you chose to solve it. All right, now this one, this is where your work mat 3 comes in handy for part, whole, okay? If you couldn't find it, you can always draw the mat, you know, just draw a little T, kind of upside down T, on your whiteboard. The girls ride in 2 taxis. Okay, so that's the number 2 right there. The boys ride in some taxis. We don't know how many. There are 9 taxis in all. How many taxis do the boys ride in? Okay, so here's the 9. We already know the girls ride in 2. Okay, again, you can act it out, put your counters and move them along. You could draw a diagram or write a number sentence. Pause and solve. Okay, 7. So let's go over a couple of those a little bit, because sometimes I think some, you know, people feel like, oh, I can't do this. And really, all of you can do this because you know all this stuff, how to do it. Okay, so write a number sentence. Well, some people like to write a subtraction number sentence that there were 9. They knew the girls had 2, so that would leave 7. Okay, drawing a diagram, you could have your 9 counters, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I'm going to X out the 2, and that would leave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and the acted out could be where you have your 9 counters on your mat. All right, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you could move 2 of them up into the one section, and that would leave the rest of them. Of course, I'm doing it here, so I can't move, but that would leave the rest of them that would go in the other part. So those are the 3 different ways that you can solve this math problem. Okay? All right. And the last one. Alan counts 7 lamps. Kurt counts the same number of lamps. How many lamps do Kurt and Alan count? Pause and solve. 14. That's right, it was a double. 7 plus 7. And again, you get to choose your strategy. All right? So that's it for today's math lesson, boys and girls. You did a great job, and we will be practicing so you can keep your materials close by when we get together today. Bye-bye.